of the children's gasping. It looks like they've all been shot in the back of the head. The 2 adults are dead in the bed.
Okay. And do they have gunshot wounds too?
Fire medical services.
Yes.
Okay.
Do not hang up.
Gunshot wounds and blood coming out their ears.
911 calls detailing the horrific scene of a multiple murder-suicide in the Northwest Valley that left 4 dead. The shooting happening last week near Durango in the US 95.
She would testify on his behalf when he was accused of child SA crimes, not knowing that that same man would be her murderer. Shanara Bernardi was a single mother in Las Vegas of 2 children until she met a man named Marvin Patterson. He seemed to fit right in with her family and her children, and it wasn't long before the 2 of them had a child of their own and she would get married, becoming Shanara Patterson. Everything seemed to be heading in the right direction. That was until 2022, when Marvin was arrested on charges that would shock the entire family. It turned out that Marvin was actually under investigation for child SA crimes, some that dated all the way back to 2013. And it wasn't just one, it was multiple. And there were also some that took place while the couple were married. Marvin will be charged with 6 counts of lewdness with a child, 5 that were under the age of 14, and 1 that was under the age of 16. Now this is also with 2 counts of SA, with a minor under the age of 16, and 1 count of first-degree kidnapping of a minor. You can imagine how any wife or mother would feel hearing accusations like this about her husband, especially when your children are the same ages as some of the victims. But Shanara's response would quite literally shock her family and even prosecutors. Originally, Marvin was being held on a $100,000 bond and would stay in jail for 2 months. That was until his attorney argued that he was not a flight risk and the bond should be lowered. This is where Shanara came into play, because the attorney would use Shanara to testify on behalf of Marvin's character. But she wouldn't be the only one. He would also get his brother as well as his ex-girlfriend to do the same. This would then lead the judge to lowering the bond from $100,000 to $10,000, allowing Marvin to bail out immediately. And of course, that will be with conditions. He would have to surrender his passport, he would have to be on house arrest, and he could not be around any children under the age of 18. And with that, Marvin was out of jail and back home. Well, not technically, being that all of their children were under the age of 18, legally, he couldn't be around them. So this left Shanara and her children in a family home, and Marvin now having to rent an apartment, leaving Shanara responsible for paying all of the bills. Being that Marvin was no longer the breadwinner, he was on house arrest and he could not go to work, and there were also some reports that say that he was let go due to the pending investigation. In the midst of everything that was going on, Shanara had also lost her father, who had been battling cancer for a while. And on top of that, more information regarding the charges were starting to surface, and it caused Shanara to question if Marvin was as innocent as he said he was. Fast forward, eventually the financial burden that rested on Shanara would become too much for her, and she would end up losing their home. Now at this point, she would move herself and her children into Marvin's apartment, unbeknownst to the courts, not knowing that this itself